So this is how it looked like. Okay, mangrove also provide good ecosystem for sustainability. As we know that, then what makes one ecosystem strong and the other weaks in the face of time? So our challenge is right now to face this, to sustain this mangrove forest. How can we sustain the mangrove forest in the future for our next generations? So the answer is to the large extent of biodiversity. Actually, mangrove and biodiversity, each they live intertwined to each other. They are rely to each other. If biodiversity have a large mass of biodiversity in a mangrove, is also we also can estimate how many years mangrove will sustain in the certain area regarding on their biodiversity. So what is biodiversity? Bio means living organism, diversity means variety. So biodiversity is usually explored at the three level, which is genetic diversity, species diversity, ecosystem diversity, which is these diversities works together to create the complexity of life on Earth. So this is biodiversity. So this video will explain many things about biodiversity. I hope it can give you the details about biodiversity.
Our planet's diverse, thriving ecosystems may seem like permanent fixtures, but they're actually vulnerable to collapse. Jungles can become deserts, and reefs can become lifeless rocks, even without cataclysmic events like volcanoes and asteroids. What makes one ecosystem strong and another weak in the face of change? The answer, to a large extent, is biodiversity. Biodiversity is built out of three intertwined features: ecosystem diversity, species diversity, and genetic diversity. The more intertwining there is between these features, the denser and more resilient the weave becomes. Take the Amazon rainforest, one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth due to its complex ecosystems, huge mix of species, and the genetic variety within those species. Here are tangled liana vines, which crawl up from the forest floor to the canopy, intertwining with treetops and growing thick wooded stems that support these towering trees. Helped along by the vines, trees provide the seeds, fruits, and leaves to herbivores such as the tapir and the agouti, which disperse their seeds throughout the forest so they can grow. Leftovers are consumed by the millions of insects that decompose and recycle nutrients to create rich soil. The rainforest is a huge system filled with many smaller systems like this, each packed with interconnected species. Every link provides stability to the next, strengthening biodiversity's weave. That weave is further reinforced by the genetic diversity within individual species, which allows them to cope with changes. Species that lack genetic diversity due to isolation or low population numbers are much more vulnerable to fluctuations caused by climate change, disease, or habitat fragmentation. Whenever a species disappears because of its weakened gene pool, a knot is untied and parts of the net disintegrate. So, what if we were to remove one species from the rainforest? Would the system fall apart? Probably not. The volume of species, their genetic diversity, and the complexity of the ecosystems form such rich biodiversity in this forest that one species gap in the weave won't cause it to unravel. The forest can stay resilient and recover from change. But that's not true in every case. In some environments, taking away just one important component can undermine the entire system. Take coral reefs, for instance. Many organisms in a reef are dependent on the coral. It provides key microhabitats, shelter, and breeding grounds for thousands of species of fish, crustaceans, and mollusks. Corals also form interdependent relationships with fungi and bacteria. The coral itself is a loom that allows the tangled net of biodiversity to be woven. That makes coral a keystone organism, one that many others depend on for their survival. So what happens when destructive fishing practices, pollution, and ocean acidification weaken coral or even kill it altogether? Exactly what you might think. The loss of this keystone species leaves its dependents at a loss too. threatening the entire fabric of the reef. Ecosystem, species, and genetic diversity together form the complex tangled weave of biodiversity that is vital for the survival of organisms on Earth. We humans are woven into this biodiversity too. When just a few strands are lost, our own well-being is threatened. Cut too many links, and we risk unraveling it all. What the future brings is unpredictable, but biodiversity can give us an insurance policy, Earth's own safety net, to safeguard our survival.
So it means that these diversity intertwine with each other, which is they work on each other to form the sustained mangrove ecosystem. So just now we focus on the mangrove ecosystem, focus on the terrestrials. So right now we are focusing on the aquatic life. So aquatic life comprised with a few class, which is phytoplankton, zooplankton, fish, invertebrates, which is covered brown excuse me, crab, shell, horseshoe crabs. So for the reptile, we cover about crocodiles, snake, lizard, turtles, and amphibian too. So as for the phytoplankton and zooplankton, so this is how phytoplanktons look like. So this one is actually Daphnia, you can see here. This one is copepod and the other one is rotifer. Okay, so for the fishes, what we can find in the mangrove, we can see that we found sea bass, snapper, grouper, and also herring, catfish, mullets, and brackish water catfish, mud skipper. So as for invertebrate, we have prawn, mud crab, blue swimming crab. So we also covered oyster. They also have like oyster, cockles, spring mussels, conch, and scallops. So this is the crab species of crab that we can find in Syafiqah mangrove. So you can guess we also have a brackish water crocodile over there. But so far, once we do our sampling, we couldn't find one of them. But based on the villagers, they mentioned that they also have crocodile over there. So, which is this diversity, each high diversity of the aquatic life in mangrove, which is they are very highly productive and dynamic. So for the aquatic environment, it also provides the ecosystem for aquatic lives, habitats, and breeding grounds. So, okay, we just covered about mangrove and biodiversity. So a part of it, I would love to show about our sampling sites in mangrove area, which is located in Syafiqah. So we have like 3 stations for our team. We have station 1, station 2, and station 3. So what for the materials and method for us, we do the sampling at the sampling site. We sort the samples, then we do that morphological identification and genetic identification. As for result, we do the present and reporting the everything. So as for the sampling, we use water quality parameters using multi-parameter. Then for the depth sonar, we use the sonar to measure the depth of each sampling site stations. So for the water samples, we collect by using this Niskin type plastic water sampler. So these samples are going to use for the microplastic and heavy metals identification. So for this for the sediment, we use Ekman grab. So sample be analyzed for heavy metals and microplastic content. So as for fishnet, we use for the sampling fish. So for the fish traps, we use the umbrella type for the sampling fish and prawn. Then we also use nets just to get the samples, the long nets, or we call the Apollo nets. For morphological and genetic identification of samples, we use in the labs. So for morphological identification, as we get the sample, we try to identify them by using the morphological based on these the shape, size. Then After that, we run the samples. We identify the species by using DNA sampling, DNA identifications. So as you can see, this one is herring, this one is striped fish, this one is mullet. So this one is catfish, brackish catfish, mud skippers, and also red-tailed shrimps. So this is our genetic amplification run to these species. So I have a video during the sampling. I would like to show it you guys. I need to move this one first. So, okay, that's it. Thank you. It's just short video just to let you see that lets you guys see what's happened during the sampling. Okay. Next, we continue on our slide. What's happened if mangrove and biodiversity gone? So this is going to be like insight for you guys project. So you guys try to find out what kind of project you will run, just to indicate that what's going to happen to mangrove and biodiversity is gone. So what affect mangrove and biodiversity? So this is the threat to mangrove. We have a climate change, logging, agriculture, which is we have aquaculture, and anthropogenic activities. So I'll cover the anthropogenic activities. Why? Because it might be useful for you guys. Because we as a user, we actually 100% contribute to the anthropogenic activities. So what is anthropogenic activities? So this is how anthropogenic pollutions look like. Let's picture tells you the whole story. As you can see, there are lots of bottles here. As you can see that. Boleh pula dia berenang ke situ. Okay. So, anthropogenic pollutions. Let me drag this one. Okay. Anthropogenic pollution is actually a form of pollution produced directly by human activities. As you can see that we keep discarding bottles, plastic, our nature. So look what's happened. This also will accumulate in oceans and mangrove, as you can see here. So then we focus on microplastic. Actually, microplastic is derived from the bottles. Okay, you can see how small it is. So what is microplastic? Microplastic is actually small plastic pieces which is lower than 5 mm, which eats pollute aquatic ecosystem and harmful to aquatic life. So actually, where does microplastic come from? So this is the sources of microplastic. It's actually derived 100% from our side. We keep using the plastics, so we discard them, so it haven't been treated. So how is microplastic formed? So microplastic formed through the breaking down the plastic, which is starting from the microplastic, mesoplastic, microplastic. This is a we covered right now, and nanoplastic. So this video is going to show you how microplastic form and how it's affect to our nature.
Microplastics. Microplastics are pieces smaller than 5 millimeters. Some of them are used in cosmetics or toothpaste, but most result from floating waste that is constantly exposed to UV radiation and crumbles into smaller and smaller pieces. 51 trillion such particles float in the ocean, where they are even more easily swallowed by all kinds of marine life. This has raised concerns among scientists, especially about health risks from the chemicals that are added to plastic. BPA, for example, makes plastic bottles transparent, but there's also evidence that it interferes with our hormonal system. DEHP makes plastics more flexible, but may cause cancer. It would be pretty bad if microplastics are toxic because they travel up the food chain. Zooplankton eat microplastic. Small fish eat zooplankton. So do oysters, crabs, and predatory fish. And they all land on our plate. Microplastics have been found in honey, in sea salt, in beer, in tap water, and in the household dust around us. 8 out of 10 babies and nearly all adults have measurable amounts of phthalates, a common plastic additive, in their bodies, and 93% of people have BPA in their urine. There is little science about this so far, and right now it's inconclusive. We need a lot more research before panic is justified. But it is safe to say that a lot of stuff happened that we didn't plan for, and we have lost control over plastic to a certain extent, which is kind of scary. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. This video.
So can you see now how scary it was? It is. Actually, it's happening in our nature right now because there are too much microplastic in our nature. So how much plastic in ocean in 2020? So 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic estimated in our ocean, and 70% of these debris end up in the ocean ecosystem. It is estimated 8.3 million tons of plastics are discarded in the sea yearly. As what we can see here, it's full with microplastic. Okay. Does microplastic affect animals? Are they harmful? Yes. Microplastic can be so harmful to animals. How? Why? 1/4 of fish contain plastic, which is this fish will end up on our tables. So this is the effect of plastic. As you can see that there are lots of plastic in the fish cuts. Okay, this getting scarier when the microplastics is end up in a larvae fish. As you can see, this is the baby fish. It's full with microbead, or known as a microplastic. As you can see, it can cause deformation to larvae. So this is a prototype for the fish if it's full with the microplastic in the guts. So this is plastic as mistakenly as algae for fish. Okay, this is one of the research carried out by Scientific American. They could find that microplastic in the fish guts. As you can see here, this one is microplastics. Okay, so it's also happened in other animals too. For example, like in this baby turtle, as you can see, there are lots of things in the turtle's stomach, in the turtle's guts. As you can see, there's lots of things. And do you remember that when we use the shower or shampoo, it has like a small beads inside? Actually, that bead is not biodegradable. It will end up in the ocean or mangrove. As you can see here, the microbeads derived from our shampoo, from our body shower, it will end up in oceans, and also stranded or stuck on the anemone or sea anemone or coral. So this is how plastic look like if it's stuck, and it can be mistakenly as a food to the turtles. And of course, this pandemic can contribute lots of percentage in our nature. As you can see that the glove, the mask, and this is the turtle mistakenly plastic as the food. So this is turtle stuck in the in the fishing nets because of the fishermen. So as you guys see, this one is plastic. It's not biodegradable, which is stuck in the nature, and it can cause the malformation to the tortoise. As you can see, it's stuck there and it caused the malformation. So this is the sea lion. That's not scarf. It's actually a net. It might look pretty, but it's not pretty lah. Okay. So this is not the crown. Actually, this is the bird. It's not the crown. Actually, the plastic stuck on the bird, the head of bird. It's not a raincoat to the bird. Actually, the plastic is also stuck on the body. So what's happened if there are lots of microplastic or plastic in their stomach? They can't eat once because the stomach is full and it died because of too much plastic in the guts. So does microplastic affect human being? So this is the most exciting part, because we might say that microplastic not affect us, but actually, yes, microplastic can be harmful to human too. How? So whatever you throw in the ocean, it will come back to you. And of course, food also contain microplastic. So I have a video about microplastic. So most of the video is very detailed about the microplastic. I hope you enjoy it.
It's a hot sunny day. You reach out for a plastic bottle of cola. Feels good, doesn't it? But what if we told you that every time you drink cola from a PET bottle, you are reducing your lifespan by a day? Don't believe us? Let us explain how. PET bottles are made up of PET resins. A few of the dangerous chemicals used in its manufacturing are phthalates, antimony, and lead. What are these exactly, you ask? Well, each of these chemicals are infamous for their numerous health hazards, including cancer. Global research has proven that when liquids are kept in PET bottles, the same chemicals used to manufacture them sneak or leach into the liquids. So every time you consume your favorite bottle of cola, orange juice, liquor, or even medicines, you're actually drinking these notorious chemicals along with it as well. And once they enter your system, it begins attacking your body in more ways than you can imagine. Here are a few shocking facts about these chemicals used in making PET bottles. It disrupts your endocrine system, affecting your growth and development, tissue function, sexual function, sleep, and mood, among other things. That's a heavy list of health hazards for a product that is used in millions of quantity every day around the world, right? But wait, there's even more. PET bottles are responsible for causing insulin resistance that leads to high blood sugar and subsequently the endless health problems attached to it. But it is also seen to cause decreased anal genital distance in male infants, which affects their ability to reproduce later in life and overall complications in reproductive systems in both males and females. We can go on, but let us save you some time and sum it up by saying that before you twist the cap on that bottle, stop for a moment and think to yourself, is it really worth it? It is time to choose wisely. It's time to choose a safer alternative, and the best time to make this decision is now. Know more on www.plasticmenace.com. It's a hot sunny...
It is how microplastic can really affect us as a human being. So microplastic exposure also can cause toxic, skin allergy, entry to digestive tract, excuse me, harm reproductive system. Microplastic particles cause cancer to the internal organs. So what you can do to reduce microplastic pollution to our environment? First, recycle your plastic item. So if you go to market, you don't have to get the plastic bag from there. You bring your own bag. So consider the use of organic products rather than you use like microbead skincare Why do you just back to the nature? You can grab whatever in the nature. For example, like you can use turmeric to your face as a skin product. Also salt and replacement for the microbeads. And also you can manage your plastic rubbish properly. So this is a video about, it's actually a side video about microplastic. So I hope that it will give you an insight is how how important that you need to manage your plastic. Ya, kata network point ada collaboration dengan nature untuk help our nature against plastic. So that's all. Thank you. Okay, so that's all from me. Okay, is there any question regarding on your project? I hopefully that today's session might be like an open eyes for you guys to proceed with the project. So is there any question you can just ask me? Hello? Anyone? Any questions?
Ask questions, please. Of course, there's question.
Do you guys have any questions regarding on the topics? hopefully it's might be an open eyes for you guys for your project. Okay, no questions? Okay, first question. Are there any species or organisms that are beneficial to mangrove? Yes, actually, most of the species, they are really intertwined to each other. For example, like crab, as small as crab. So what crab do in our nature, for example, like in mangrove, actually crab, they eat debris from the leftover from the biodiversity. So the last part, like scraper lah. So eat the debris from the nature, and it's also called as it's also turn to the turn the debris, the large debris become small debris for the bacteria. That's all. Any question? So if there is any questions, so I hope that today's session is it will be an open eyes for you guys and a bit information. Like I would like, I hope that it's delivered much more information to you guys and it's help for your project. So before that, can we take a picture? Anyone? Buka video. Buka ambil gambar.
Okay, please open your camera. We need to take a group picture. Yeah.
Okay, semua ready?
Okay, everyone,
Hi Farahin.
switch on your video.
Hi Syafiqah, Sheila. Hi everyone.
Baru nampak muka.
Dia kan tidur semua. Takut juga cakap seorang-seorang.
Itulah sebenarnya.
Okay, ready everyone? Okay, okay ada lagi. Okay. One, okay. Okay, lagi. We wait for a while. People still opening their webcam. Okay. Okay. Ready? Smile. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, wait. Okay, one more time. Okay, ready? Smile. 1, 2, and 3. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. All the best for your next project. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss Wan Fatin.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you Fatin for the nice presentation. Don't forget guys, tomorrow there will be another seminar also on mangrove, so please join, yeah. And also please prepare questions also to the speakers. They are all the speakers are, very knowledgeable on their field. So do ask a lot of questions. This is the time. So you will know better on your problem statement or anything. Okay, so do ask question. So see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Fatin.
Bye. Thank you, Doctor. Bye.
Good job.
Thank you.